But any tales from the making of Emperor of the North?
I used to go home at night, and I'd have my makeup on and everything else, and I'd walk in and my wife would look at me. And I said, honey, am I really that bad? Am I really that kind of a bad person that where is this coming from? I couldn't believe I could be so bad. And yet, I'm not bad enough. I wasn't really bad enough. Just think of what's happening in real life, where we can't go to a football game without somebody beating the pajamas out of somebody. Isn't that terrible? What do we come to? You know, you got to stop and think that, you know, somehow or other we're just not making sense here. And it's all right to portray a bad guy and, you know, show it on the screen how terrible a person could really be. But to be that kind of a terrible person in real life, no, that doesn't go for me at all. And when I read about these things, it leaves me pretty well pickled off, you know what I mean? And I just don't like it. And so, you know, when you play these kind of people, you kind of say to yourself, where does it come from? But it happens, bam, and people say, gee, you were bad. That's not saying it bad enough.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am.
Hi, first of all, I just want to say
How are
I
you?
love you so much. I have been following your career since my very favorite movie of all time, The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah!
But one of my favorite shows growing up was Airwolf.
Yes.
My question is, I didn't know how much training you and Jan Michael Vincent had to have to do everything that you did in that TV show.
There's no training. No, really, you know, it's very something. When you become an actor, a professional actor, it's a little different, you know what I mean? First you read the script, and you find out what the devil's going on here, what's the story all about and everything else. And you figure out in your own mind how you would play that kind of a role, what you're doing. I usually, when I read a script, if I don't fall asleep by the 4th page, it's a good script. But if I fall asleep, forget it. I don't play it. As a matter of fact, I just finished one. I'll tell you how crazy this thing is. I just finished a picture called The Man Who Shook the Hand of Vincent Fernandez. Now, Vincent Fernandez is a real character, is a singer called the Frank Sinatra of Mexico. And he's a real person. And we asked him to do the picture because, hey, it's after Vincent Fernandez. And he said, no. He said, too many Americans had taken advantage of him, so he didn't want to do it. But his son liked the picture. And he said, well, maybe we can bring him around. But anyway, in the meantime, we found somebody that looks just like him. So we went ahead and made the picture. I played the man who shook the hand. Well, I want to tell you, I first read the script and I said, 4th page, forget about it. And the guy said, wait a minute, read it over again. So I respect the man's opinion. So I started to read it again. First thing you know, I couldn't put it down. And this was all written by a man who heard the story from a man who actually shook the hand of Vincent Fernandez. And he put it all together and made a Western out of it inside of a home where the older people go to. And this man gets in there and he can't wait to get out because, you know, it's full of this and that and intrigue and everything else. And the first thing you know, he said one day somebody mentioned Vincent Fernandez. He said, Vincent Fernandez, I know that name, Vincent Fernandez. Oh yeah. He said, I remember this guy was trying to make a film and everything else. No, trying to sell his pictures He came over to me, he said, I like you, put out his hand and shook it. You shook the hand of Vincent Fernandez? This is from the Mexicans, because they adore him. And the fella made a whole picture out of this thing as a Western inside of a get-well home, or what do they call it? Nursing home. And I swear to goodness, it's the funniest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's wonderful, and yet there's an awful lot of humanity in it. It's full of what people want to do and can't do. The part that I play is a man who is in what the heck do you call him? A man who sells, who does records on the radio. DJ man. And he wanted to be an actor. He wants to be a real good actor. And he keeps studying this part of Western. So he's going to be a Western boy. And one day he gets a chance to go. And he muffs it. He doesn't muff it. It's just the way that he has to do the part. And instead of this great big speech that he was waiting to make, to give him one line, period. And oh yes, really, we know exactly what we want. And it's called The Man Who Shook the Hand of Vincent Fernandez. Watch for it when it comes out, because it's going to be a scorcher.
Awesome.
Real beautiful.
I just have a favor to ask. My mom also.
Now, that had nothing to do with what you want to know.
No, not really, but it's very interesting, and I'm glad you told me. I was just mainly talking about the technical aspects with the helicopter. But no, my mom would love to be here, but she couldn't. And I was wondering if I could have...
Just get into a helicopter and go.
I know, but you acted like you could fly it very well.
They found out, they used to take us up, and we used to do the scene up there, and everything else was fine, and wonderful until the insurance companies found out. No! You can't put them up in the air, my God, if anything happens, we're dead. So right away they stopped the business of going up in a helicopter. But what we did was mostly on the ground, making believe.
Right.
The thing that used to be the most funniest thing of all, we would take the helicopter and we'd bring it up to an air show or something, and then put a long yellow line all the way, a police line, all the way around, We'd have all the guns sticking out and everything else. And nobody could go by, because take a look, you can take all the pictures, but you can't go in there because, it's really, the Russians were worried about it. They thought we were trying to pull something. And when they went inside that crater, that we had, oh my God, this is amazing. Little did they realize it was all miniature. Well, listen, you got to take a license somehow, right?
That's incredible. I was going to ask you if I could have
Go
the
ahead.
nameplate to take
You're
to
going to
my
ask me
mom.
about it? See, I let out something I shouldn't have told you. Nameplate for my mother? You got it. You want me to sign it for you?
I would love
You got
that.
a pen? Come here, I'll sign it for you. Anita, love, Jack Smith. I approached Lee Marvin one time. We were making a picture called the train picture that we did, Emperor of the North.